For 30 years, the U.S. Agency for International Development, USAID, has stood with Bosnia and Herzegovina. From the wreckage of war to the precipice of joining the European Union, we have partnered together to build peace, prosperity, and democracy. After the war ended in 1995, USAID launched its mission in BiH with urgency and purpose. We began with emergency aid, food, clothing, medical care, and fuel. But we didn't stop there. USAID led an intense rebuilding effort that laid the foundation for BiH's recovery. Through more than 1,600 infrastructure projects, we repaired bridges, power plants, railways, water systems, schools, and hospitals, enabling businesses to reopen, exports to resume, and more than 100,000 people to return to their communities to restart their lives. And in Srebrenica, where the first genocide on European soil since World War II took place, we supported the local community to restart their shattered lives. We restored electricity, rebuilt a radio and television transmitter, enabling residents to receive news updates and broadcast public interest programming, and in partnership with the Republika Srpska government, we remodeled Srebrenica's war-destroyed local court. As reconstruction progressed, USAID expanded its focus. We helped BiH build institutions vital to modern governance, rule of law, and long-term stability, including court and prosecutors' offices throughout the country and special prosecutors' offices in both BiH entities, the Central Bank of BiH, the BiH Ministry of Finance and Treasury, the BiH Indirect Taxation Authority, and the Federation and Republika Srpska banking agencies. USAID support stabilized and restored confidence in the economy and banking system. We helped privatize and expand key businesses. A $256 million USAID grant infused the banking industry with liquidity. And we advanced fiscal reforms that improved financial management at every level of government, streamlined tax administration, and strengthened commercial banks. Together, these interventions unlocked capital needed to jumpstart business operations, create jobs, and fund government services. USAID also boosted key economic sectors, including IT, wood and metal processing, agriculture, and tourism, by providing seed money, grants, and training, enabling local companies to expand domestic sales and export their products to the EU and other lucrative markets. These efforts created at least 20,000 jobs throughout BiH, made the financial system more accountable and transparent, and set the foundations for private sector-led economic growth. As the economy began to recover, USAID also worked to strengthen democratic institutions, rule of law, and social cohesion, and to fight corruption that threatened the country's fragile recovery. We supported key laws that made courts work more efficiently and transparently, including landmark laws on freedom of information and whistleblower protection, and strengthened oversight and professionalism in the judiciary by helping establish the High Judicial and Prosecutorial Council. We played a key role in electoral reform, training thousands of citizens, election staff, and observers to support free and fair elections. We helped create BiH's first private, independent television network and expanded the country's first and only private printer that served 20 different news publications. We supported more than 130 NGOs, providing important social services and fighting corruption in their communities. In the decades since USAID first responded to BiH communities in their time of need, we remained by their side. When devastating floods hit the country in 2014, USAID was there, providing rescue boats and other immediate emergency assistance, building roads and bridges once again, and helping local businesses and farms recover. And when floods and landslides again swept through parts of BiH 10 years later, USAID and our partners jumped into action, providing relief, supplies, and cleanup equipment. BiH's path to prosperity and stability has not always been easy, and we've faced many setbacks together along the way. Corruption has persisted, weakening trust in public institutions, from procurement, the justice system, to healthcare. Ethnic divisions simmer, fueling tension and slowing reconciliation. Politicians continue to destabilize the political landscape and block reform efforts for their own gain. And with limited opportunities at home, roughly half of BiH's population has emigrated, draining communities of economic and social vitality. But USAID, inspired by and committed to BiH's progress, never turned away. We intensified efforts to fight corruption, supporting hundreds of citizen watchdog groups, training more than 1,000 judges and prosecutors, and over 5 years backing more than 2,000 investigative media reports that led to criminal charges, arrests, and sanctions against corrupt public officials and companies. We continued our steadfast work in memorializing victims of war while building peace. Over a decade, we reached tens of thousands of people across the country, rebuilding trust within and between communities and building up the foundations of sustainable peace. And in 2024, USAID worked with our longtime partner, the Srebrenica Memorial Center, to open a facility that is providing a dignified resting place for the remains of unidentified victims of genocide. We bolstered human rights protections for the LGBTQI+ community, supported the national government to pass legislation and strategies that have reduced human trafficking, and in just 5 years provided services to nearly 2,000 children with disabilities and their families. In partnership with local municipalities, we helped marginalized entrepreneurs create and grow more than 300 small businesses all over the country. We invested in local solutions, launching partnerships with 29 municipalities across BiH and bringing together over 600 civil society actors who are working together to improve quality of life for their communities. Alongside these investments in BiH's democratic and social progress, USAID continued our robust support for economic development. We created an innovative program to encourage BiH's large global diaspora to invest economically and socially in their homeland. In just 7 years, USAID harnessed more than $80 million in investments into diaspora-linked companies that have sold more than $356 million worth of goods and services, mainly as exports, and created more than 2,800 jobs in BiH. We invested in tourism, helping catalyze one of the country's fastest-growing sectors. In less than 5 years, we helped launch at least 20 new air routes, created hundreds of new tourism products and experiences, brought in record numbers of international tourists, and created more than 1,000 tourism industry jobs. USAID also played an integral role in reforming BiH's energy sector and bolstering energy security. With USAID support, the Federation passed a series of energy laws between 2023 and 2025 to transition BiH toward renewable energy, strengthen energy consumer rights, reduce costs, and diversify energy sources. And we led BiH's digital transformation, partnering with institutions across the country to modernize e-signature, border inspection, construction permitting, and public procurement systems that are making BiH's government work more effectively and efficiently for its citizens and industries. As this chapter of USAID comes to a close, we are proud to look back on 30 years of impact in BiH. All told, U.S. government assistance over the past 3 decades has totaled more than $2 billion, mostly from USAID. Today, BiH has maintained peace for 30 years, has transitioned from an impoverished, war-torn country to upper-middle income status, and is an EU accession candidate. USAID leaves a legacy of progress and partnership that will endure for decades to come.